This is Hive Radical, and I'm coming on here to give a little series here, kind of a summation of a lot of my points. But it's a series attempting to seek an understanding, at least, between, myself, those who were on the yes side of Proposition 8, between the traditional marriage, as it's called, by one side, and the same-sex marriage, or gay marriage, as it's called by the other side. And in seeking this, I'm going to be putting up just a few videos, giving some of my points of view. This is coming at it from a secular perspective, so I'm not going to be referencing the Bible or scriptures or any of that in this video series. And I hope we can at least understand each other better. I don't expect to necessarily convert anyone to our point of view, but I do get concerned when dialogue is stifled because of hate or fear on either side. And I don't like to be seen as someone that's not what I am. I'm not hateful, I'm not fearful, and I just want to increase understanding between both sides. So here I go. Now, with that being said, that this is a secular argument, I'm going to be taking a portion that is a secular argument from it's something that was produced by my church, but this portion of it that I'll be reading is focusing on the secular aspects, the secular arguments for our side. So I hope, having heard that, you won't turn off your mind or won't dismiss it out of hand, but will actually consider what is put forward. This portion, the piece I'm going to be reading from, is titled "The Divine Institution of Marriage." It's found on my church's website. I'll post a link to the side here. This is a subsection titled "How Would Same-Sex Marriage Affect Society?" So I'm going to be reading segments from that right now. Possible restrictions on religious freedom are not the only societal implications of legalizing same-sex marriage. Perhaps the most common argument that proponents of same-sex marriage make is that it is essentially harmless and will not affect the institution of traditional heterosexual marriage in any way. It won't affect you, so why should you care, is the common refrain. While it may be true that allowing single-sex unions will not immediately and directly affect all existing marriages, the real question is how it will affect society as a whole over time, including the rising generation and future generations. The experience of the few European countries that already have legalized same-sex marriage suggests that any dilution of the traditional definition of marriage will further erode the already weakened stability of marriages and family generally. Adopting same-sex marriage compromises the traditional concept of marriage, with harmful consequences for society. Now, just a note for myself, on the details of this, we can get into this, whether in the comment section or what. If you don't feel any of these points are correct or valid, please feel free to post a comment. Please be civil. But I'm going to continue on and realize that some of these things are addressed later on. This was just the lead paragraph, so I continue. There are many practical implications in the sphere of public policy that will be of deep concern to parents and society as a whole. These are critical to understanding the seriousness of the overall issue of same-sex marriage. When a man and a woman marry with the intention of forming a new family, their success in that endeavor depends on their willingness to renounce the single-minded pursuit of self-fulfillment and to sacrifice their time and means to the nurturing and rearing of their children. Marriage is fundamentally an unselfish act. I believe this is an important part. These are my words now. An important part because one's sexual identity or sexual desires or whatever should be subservient to the welfare of the children. I continue reading. Societal recognition of same-sex marriage cannot be justified simply on the grounds that it provides self-fulfillment to its partners. For it is not the purpose of government to provide legal protection to every possible way in which individuals may pursue fulfillment. It is true that some same-sex couples will obtain guardianship over children through prior heterosexual relationships, through adoption in the states where this is permitted, or by artificial insemination. Despite that, the all-important question of public policy must be, what environment is best for the child and for the rising generation? Traditional marriage provides a solid and well-established social identity to children. It increases the likelihood that they will be able to form a clear gender identity, with sexuality closely linked to both love and procreation. By contrast, the legalization of same-sex marriage likely will erode the social identity, gender development, and moral character of children. Is it really wise for society to pursue such a radical experiment without taking into account its long-term consequences for children? Finally, and again, I'm jumping around a bit here, jumping over parts for making this short and to the subject matter that I'm wishing to address. It says, finally, throughout history, the family has served as an essential bulwark of individual liberty. The walls of a home provide a defense against detrimental social influences and the sometimes overreaching powers of government. In the absence of abuse or neglect, government does not have the right to intervene in the rearing and moral education of children in the home. Strong families are thus vital for political freedom. But when governments presume to redefine the nature of marriage, issuing regulations to ensure public acceptance of non-traditional unions, they have moved a step closer to intervening in the sphere of domestic life. The consequences of crossing this line are many and unpredictable, but likely would include an increase in the power and reach of the state toward whatever ends it seeks to pursue.